The use of language is an integral part in the cultural settings of different communities. Tobias Chanji, KTN News, Kwale County.
Well, it may surprise you to learn that indeed some of those people going out there to learn those languages are entrepreneurs who are making a huge difference in the economy today. And to speak into that conversation, Matters Entrepreneurship 101 right now, in the studio with me, Jeff Njao Mwaya, karibu sana, our resident analyst on Matters Entrepreneurship.
Asante sana.
Recently back from Somalia, a story for another day. But indeed, today we want to look at the entrepreneurship journey, but from a different perspective. Talk about formalization, literally registering a business. What does it take? Where do you start? Do you register a fully fledged company? Do you register a business name? Do you go the partnership? There's so many questions. If we want to, so to say, incorporate and start to operate under a sort of formal setting, and you want to go the registration direction, where do you start?
First, thank you for having me. It's nice to be back home. The first question you asked is, how do you formalize?
Yes.
Many people have done biashara, they're out there, they're doing their own different hustles. And at some point for you to get the big bucks for a corporate to pay you, because you will go and they won't pay you, they will feel a bit hesitant to pay Peter Wakaba. They would want to see an institution behind Peter Wakaba and the work that Peter is doing, or any other person who is out there.
Yes.
So formalization becomes extremely important, and formalization becomes the registration. The first step of registration is choosing a name. And choosing a name is not an easy thing.
Yes.
Out there you find very, very funny names, very weird names.
In fact, for most people, they say, especially the Kikuyus, you go and combine you and your wife's name, some of them, and that's what becomes your name. So you have a Waka something limited.
Yes.
So literally, what's the way to go?
I think the first thing when you're naming, there are rules of naming. The first thing about naming is that it's not about you. It's not about you and your wife. It's not about Peter and Peter's wife.
Yes.
All of whom form that name. It is about the market. So the first thing is it's not about you. The second thing is choose a name that speaks to the thing that you do. If you're in education space, don't call yourself XX Enterprises. Call yourself X School. If you're in catering, talk about XX Foods. If you're in transport, don't call yourself XX Investments. Call yourself whatever transport, whatever kinyozi, whatever. You know, it's about the business. It's not about you.
Yes, there are people who are sort of nostalgic. And this has been extremely common. And it's a challenge today for many SMEs trying to make the leap, where a lot of Kenyans name their companies after where they come from.
Yeah.
So you have Madhya Bar and Lodge, you have Odaya Bars, you have Rwadhia Distributors, these sorts of names that then become an impediment for you as you try to grow from being an SME or a family-led company into something really big and global. I
actually have an example of a very big entity. I won't name the entity, but it's in the financial services sector.
Yes.
That once upon a time, it was a local player. Then it went into the region.
Yes.
Then its name still had Kenya.
Wow.
And while they tried to sell in Uganda, in Tanzania, in some of the other countries in the region, it was very, very difficult. It means that at the point of inception, they had not anticipated a time that they will go regional. So you might call your entity Ugenya Fish.
Yes.
But what about the time that you go to Tanzania, go to Uganda, go to other counties within the country? So that gives our third rule of naming. It has to be visionary. You have to think the future. You have to go beyond. And it's a challenge because, you name your business when you're beginning.
Yes.
So you might not even have the foresight of what will go on, but you need to be visionary enough to see where you intend to go.
Yes.
So that's the other thing, is that the name should be short. There are some schools, some Asian schools that are called Sanvandi.
Shri Kuchi Leva Patel Samaj School and Australian College.
That is a whole sentence. You know, an exam should be what is the name of your school, 100 marks.
Yes.
It is very difficult for even people to write you checks.
Yes.
Checks will be bouncing all the time because people will always miss the spelling of your name. So it should be short, it should be memorable. People should be able to remember it. It should be easy in the mouth of the person who is out there reading the name of your business. Then the last thing when we talk about naming, always try and find out what does that name mean in different cultures. Because you might have a nice name, but the Luya translation of that is that you're a dog.
Wow. Or something vulgar.
Something worse, or something vulgar. So always remember, businesses have died and been born courtesy the name. Let me give an example, a local example. A school which almost shut down. Once upon a time, it was Kenya School of Monetary Study, Kenya School of Professional, KSPS, Kenya School of Professional Studies. Then they changed their name to Inorero University.
Wow.
Yet, changing to a university is a beautiful thing. It's a fantastic thing.
Yes.
But they died on the altar of the name. Because it's not a name that you would want to present as your degree certificate.
Yes.
The content and the curriculum might be the best, but the name can be a killer. So, first step, I think we are done with naming.
Okay, indeed, Jeff, unfortunately, we are out of time. Short and sweet. The next time we see you, we want to talk about how you then take this process to the registrar and start to see what that process looks like.
And the different types of registration.
Yes, and today I think we can close on the note that a lot of businesses then have to walk away